We are doing another analysis video. This is genuinely one of my favourite things to make, so I'm really glad you enjoy it. And my god, not to blow my own horn here, but I cooked so hard with this one. I'm super proud of it, so I really hope you enjoy it too. Also, before people comment if you didn't see my community tab, I know I said I would do Scoundrels next, I know. I just want to do songs I'm motivated to do. If I really wanted to, I could force myself to do the Scoundrels analysis, but trust me when I say, the video would be so much better quality if I waited for that motivation to come. I'm not going to force myself to analyze a song I'm not in the mood for. I want to post high quality content. And these songs are so amazing, I don't want to do them any injustice. Perfect Blue is a song I have had a lot of thoughts about for a very long time, and also probably the second most requested song I've gotten. So I hope this analysis can still feed you Scoundrels lovers. I promise you it will be analysed one day. I'm not saying I'm never going to do Scoundrels. I'm hoping to analyse every single song from One Simple Trick. So it will come, I promise. I really looked into this one and I think it's my best one yet, so I hope you enjoy. And like always, please read my disclaimer if you're the kind that likes to argue. In this title, Wilbur is referring to blue, whatever that represents, as perfect. The colour blue represents multiple different things in media. Things like water, depth, sadness, detachment, but it could also refer to a few other things in the context of Wilbur. I believe that blue is referring to blue light, the blue light of a screen. In this case, that would mean that the perfect blue is the audience. He is calling his audience perfect, despite not knowing them. Saying something is perfect could refer to them being pristine and untouchable, continuing the point that the audience are strangers, and Wilbur has no way of true interaction. The audience quite literally is untouchable. In December of last year, Wilbur made a note that he thinks he was the first content creator to create a parasocial relationship back at his audience. And I think that's what this is referencing. So in conclusion, the title, Perfect Blue, is referring to Wilbur viewing his audience as perfect. The first line of this song, got a pen and a napkin, name a number you want. It's basically Wilbur saying he will do whatever the audience want, or at least that's what's expected of content creators. How he has got a pen and a napkin to write down whatever the audience tells him. However, the fact that he's writing this on a napkin shows that he is never prepared for these demands, how the demands of content creation come out of nowhere, but he will do his best to satisfy them anyway. The second line, wish I knew all the maths to figure out hard sums, has a meaning that continues from the first line. He's wishing he knew how to cope with fame. How he wishes he knew how to figure out hard sums is referring to the difficulties of fame and having an audience, and how much he struggles with it. He's struggling to satisfy his audience's demands, and this line is simply saying that he wishes he could figure out how to cope with it better. Haven't seen you in weeks, plumbing the same dive bars.
Haven't seen you in weeks, plumbing the same dive bar.
I believe Haven't Seen You in Weeks is referring to the hiatus that Wilbur and Lovejoy had after their accusations had taken place. But despite this hiatus, his loyal fans, or in this case his Perfect Blue, are still plumbing the same dive bars, representing that we are still there for him and we are still supporting him actively online. But I also think it's a metaphor for how we are defending him online too. Saying we are plumbing the same dive bars is like him saying we're trying to fix everything ourselves, how we are plumbing, or fixing, the same dive bars. The internet, the accusations, the incorrect information. So I think this line is addressing that too. With the prettiest patrons from the Street View car. I think the prettiest patrons is a metaphor for the best of Wilbur's community, his part of the audience that doesn't cause issues or cause fights, and are simply enjoying his content and supporting him. Saying they are watching from the Street View car is him saying that they are watching everything unfold, but they aren't getting involved themselves. They aren't putting a bad name on the community. If you're up and down, if you're down and out, I can be your lifeline, you can throw me out.
If you're up and down, if you're down and out,
I think someone being up and down refers to how people consistently change their minds on him and the situation. If you're down and out is the same thing, with out referring to people who left the community. I can be your lifeline, you can throw me out. Is Wilbur saying he can still be a lifeline? Lifeline referring to his content and music. I think it's very interesting how he has used the word lifeline to describe this. I'm pretty sure it's referring to how a lot of Wilbur's content, his music in particular, has positively impacted a lot of people's mental health. And this is him saying he can still be a lifeline. You can still enjoy it and still view it in that way, even if you don't support him. But he's also saying, you can throw me out, stop supporting him, and that he doesn't mind. It's fully up to the person and he holds nothing against them. If your love runs dry, I can go without. Pluck my heart from me and I'll still sleep as sound.
If your love runs dry, I can go without. Pluck my heart from me and I'll still sleep with sound.
This is continuing the last line and its meaning. He's again saying that it's okay if you don't support him anymore and he doesn't hold it against you. Even saying the metaphor, pluck my heart, the heart being a vital organ needed to survive, and despite that, he still doesn't mind. You can pluck his heart from him and he'll still sleep soundly. Even if it hurts, he will be okay. Now we get to the chorus.
Bastards, they will talk, but not a word on you, my perfect blue.
I believe the bastards in this situation is referring to the angry, hateful people who spread hate towards Wilbur constantly, to the point of obsession, and how those people also actively go after any supporters of Wilbur, not in a kind, discussion type way, but in a way that involves threats, bullying, and belittling. Wilbur is saying those people will talk, and that the gossip and hate won't stop, and you can't do anything about it. They are always going to talk. But then, Wilbur says that none of what they're saying is about you directly, that they are saying these things against him, that the words are not on you, that they are on him. But it also seems to be a little protective in a way, that his audience, or perfect blue, must be free and protected from hatred. Saying a word won't go on his perfect blue, that no blame should go onto them under any circumstance, and that they should come for him instead of his audience. Almost like he's comforting his community in a way with this lyric.
Take me as you are, going down with you, my perfect blue.
This is Wilbur saying you can see him in whatever way you want, whatever way that makes the most sense to you. How people can hate him, how people can love him, how people can feel no feelings towards him. He will take it as they are. He will accept any opinion on him and he will respect it. And saying he's going down with the perfect blue, or the audience, is Wilbur kind of talking about how his reputation is going down with the audience. Wilbur lost a significant amount of his audience after the allegations, and I think again this is talking in kind of a protective way, kind of saying he's staying with the audience, he's staying with his perfect blue, and it's again very, very sweet. Like he's really acknowledging his audience, and how he's sticking with us despite everything. Waiting for the rapture, hear a car alarm.
Waiting for the rapture, hear a car alarm.
The rapture is a religious belief that one day the believers of that religion will be taken to heaven, whilst the others are left behind. How the believers are taken to a place of eternal happiness and joy. This is very interesting. Wilbur waiting for the rapture is almost like he's waiting for his supporters and the people who believe him to finally be given happiness and a sense of freedom from all the controversy. However, this peace and ideology is broken by a car alarm, which I believe is symbolism for the hate. Car alarms are loud, annoying, distracting, but they are also very sensitive. The smallest thing can set them off, which I think is a metaphor for how Wilbur could do anything and it would set off hate. But car alarms also don't last forever, which goes into the point of the next lyric. Boredom's coming at you, it won't be too long.
Boredom's coming at you, it won't be too long.
Wilbur here is discussing how people on the internet often hate out of boredom and how they will soon move on to something new. This ties into the car alarm thing, because car alarms eventually stop, just like how hate also eventually stops because people get bored. These people who hate on him and his supporters don't actually care about the accusations about supporting supposed abuse victims. If they did, they would be focusing their energy on actually doing things to support those people. But instead, they are using that energy to seek out Wilbur's audience just to be cruel and just to bully. Something which, by the way, Shelby has said herself she is against. But soon, they will grow bored of the hate, and they will stop and they will move on to something else. That the rapture, or the peace, will happen soon. You know the waiting kills you before the hemlock does.
You know the waiting kills you before the hemlock does.
Hemlock is a highly poisonous plant, which is fatal to both humans and animals if digested, even if it's only a little bit. This poison causes your breathing muscles to fail. It causes extreme pain, like burning in the abdomen, your muscles hurting, and if not treated, it will kill a human within 30 minutes to only a couple of hours. Wilbur saying the waiting kills before the hemlock does is saying that knowing what's coming and having to wait in anticipation is worse than an extremely painful death. That the feeling of dread is worse than the pain. Strangers know who's built to stomach hoping for.
Strangers know who's built to stomach hoping for.
Wilbur here is referring to the people who know about the controversy as strangers. Originally, I thought that the strangers were Wilbur's fan base, and although I do think that's correct, I think it's more than just his general audience. I think it's just everybody who has an opinion on his controversy, both the people who support him and also the people who don't. And I think it's going more into the parasocial attitude that people have towards content creators. How despite them not knowing him and them being strangers, they assume he is built to stomach or handle the things that are being thrown at him. Specifically, he's able to handle people's hope. How, before he properly spoke about things, many of his past audience had so much hope that Wilbur would say something and fix everything, just assuming that he could stomach that pressure when he really can't. Also, the fact that it says strangers know really adds to the pressure and really adds to that parasocial relationship. It's saying they know. They know he will handle these things, even though they are strangers. If you've broken down, if you're rolling out. I'm your frozen sweat, your smirking sense of doubt.
But if you've broken down, if you're rolling out, I'm your frozen sweat, your smirking sense of doubt.
Saying someone is broken down to me implies that this person has tried to support, but after things don't add up to them, they break down. However, I think this is referring more to someone who does believe Wilbur, but then the hate they have received or seen towards other supporters has broken them down, not allowing them to support in the way that they want. If you're rolling out refers to me as the people who left during the situation, how they are unfollowing Wilbur and dropping him. This is completely mirroring the first pre-chorus. Instead of offering help, support, and comfort, this pre-chorus is instead acknowledging the audience's departure, watching them leave without a fight, saying his audience has broken down or they are rolling out. Frozen sweat seems to be referencing cold sweat, something that means intense panic and anxiety. However, instead of it just being cold sweat, it's frozen, meaning not only it's freezing cold, meaning extremely intense panic and anxiety, but it's also frozen in time, that this anxiety is going to last a very long time. I believe this anxiety may be about Wilbur's past audience, how they stood up for this person, and now, after everything, it makes them feel sick even thinking about it. How he is their frozen sweat, how he is their anxiety. However, your smirking sense of doubt, I believe, is referencing how those people may cope with the anxiety. Smirking, It's not a smile, it's not a grin, it's smirking, something that is often seen as very condescending. This condescending tone to me seems to symbolize the past audience and how they are often the ones that spread the most hate. These people are the ones commenting on posts saying, "I knew all along," or the ones bringing up things Wilbur did in the past and putting a bad name on it. They are using this inside knowledge to spread hate and bully. Smirking sense of doubt is representing how they are hiding the frozen sweater anxiety by being publicly cruel, showing they are in no way supporting Wilbur and that they are looking down on anyone who does. The smirking sense of doubt. They doubt Wilbur's side of the story and they are smirking, being condescending because of it. Fill the world you spilled, from tit to teeth you're numb.
Fill the world you spill, from tit to teeth you're numb.
In this case, the world Wilbur is referencing is his private life. His privacy during the allegations was completely leaked for everyone to see. Specifically, the ways that he is vulnerable in terms of his depression and struggles. They were just put out there for everyone to see and hear, and he was immediately judged for it. His world was completely spilled. Saying he is numb from tit to teeth seems to be referencing a gag effect, that he's physically unable to speak. I think this because this kind of area it's talking about, from your chest to your teeth, is the area where your larynx is. So that area being numb, to me, is a metaphor for not being able to speak. How he feels physically unable to talk about his side of the story, not wanting to share more about himself with the internet, not wanting to spill even more of his world that was already put out there. But I also think it could reference the surprise that he expressed in his statement, how he was deeply shocked of being accused of something like abuse, making him numb and unable to express his feelings. However, it could also mean the audience being numb. I think this because it says you're numb instead of I'm numb, so it could very much also be talking about the surprise his audience felt. Leaking smiles from a gasket slipped around your tongue.
Leaking smiles from the gasket slipped around your tongue.
A gasket is a seal to prevent leaks. With this knowledge, you can understand that these leaks are not meant to be happening, that something is escaping, this something being smiles. These smiles that are supposed to be concealed are getting out, are slipping around the tongue. I think this is an allegory for people enjoying internet drama and having fun bullying and spreading hate. Like I mentioned before, how these people don't actually care about victims, how they were following a hate train because they find internet drama fun and are enjoying themselves, how their smiles and joy come out when things they say slip. An example I can think of with this is supposed Shelby supporters saying how serious the situation of abuse is, but then commenting things like Brighton biter online, completely contradicting their previous statement because they find it funny. If they really were caring about victims and caring about abuse, they would not be making jokes about Shelby's supposed trauma. They are doing it because they find it funny and they don't actually care about the truth. They just enjoy spreading hate. Then there's the second chorus, which I'm not going to go into again because they are the same lyrics. I just wanted to mention how much more impactful it is this time after hearing everything I just said. How despite all of this that Wilbur has dealt with, he still greatly cares for his audience, his perfect blue, the ones who stuck with him throughout all of this. It's very, very sweet. Now we have got to the outro of this song.
I'm afraid I broke a string, and so now I must be leaving. It's a shame we couldn't finish this with some wine some Sunday evening.
I think the entirety of this song's outro is him saying goodbye to his old community. Like, these are the last things he wants to say to them. Saying he broke a string symbolizes that connection and how it's now gone and broken. Saying that he is also the one to break it, not putting any blame on his audience and putting it all on himself. Him also saying that he must be leaving is him choosing to leave these people behind. That he's not begging or trying to force his audience to stay with him like so many other content creators would. That he is just accepting that fact and letting people leave. So many people in this situation online would be causing so much shit. They would be going crazy, they would be doing a fucking Colleen Ballinger, you know, I don't fucking know. He hasn't done any of that. He is just letting people leave if they want to leave, and he's not begging and being very mature about everything. And I really do think that's what it's talking about, how he is willingly leaving. Wilbur's also expressing he's sad that it ended this way, that it's a shame that we had to finish it this way, and how he wishes that it was ended peacefully. I've seen a lot of people also say that this could be a wine stream reference, saying we couldn't finish this with some wine, and although I don't think that's entirely true, I do have a reference to it that I've written down. In these long streams, him and Quackity were very open and very vulnerable with the audience watching. They would just have a long conversation with themselves and with the chat. It was a very calm and very safe environment, and he almost wishes that he could just have that environment one more time to go over everything. Although personally, I think that he chose to say wine some Sunday evening because it's something that is not possible in any which way. Saying he wishes that he could finish this with some wine some Sunday evening is something completely impossible. He cannot have a heart-to-heart and a wine with his audience. It's just not possible. It's something that could never happen. And I think that's very intentional. I think this is a metaphor for how he knew it couldn't be done any other way. Despite his wishes, it's always going to have ended this way, and he knows that. Because that's how the internet is built. If someone did something supposedly wrong, they are gone forever. You are never going to get that out of your name. Which is why I think he chose this very unrealistic allegory. Oh, I hope you will remember. Is Wilbur saying he hopes his past audience can still look back on everything with good memories? That they can be happy that it happened and that they can remember everything that happened. Oh, to stay just a Monday more.
Oh, to stay just a Monday more.
Is completely contrasting the Sunday evening. Sunday evening is calm and peaceful, while Monday is a day of work. This to me shows that Wilbur wishes he could have one more day before the allegations, one more day of working as a content creator and working for his audience like he used to, because he really enjoyed it. Despite all of this stuff he's been talking about with how draining it was, it's still something he enjoyed, and he wishes he could do it one more time with his past audience. Like I've already mentioned, Wilbur put a parasocial relationship back on this old audience too, and he even speaks about how he knows it was unhealthy and how he was very reliant on them a lot of the time. Because he really, really cares about his audience, and he still does. So despite all of them leaving, he still deeply cares about those people who used to support him, and he just wants one more day where he can bring them joy like he used to. Then we have the last line of this song, but don't try this at home. Don't try this at home. I said don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home.
Saying don't try this at home is a professional warning given when doing something dangerous. Wilbur saying this so insistently is showing how much he doesn't want people to copy him. Don't do the things he's done, and don't see him as a role model, something he consistently said to his audience during live streams, even before the allegations. But he's also saying fame and spotlight is dangerous. It's not this amazing and carefree dream job that it might seem. It's stressful, draining, and people are just constantly having eyes on you, wanting to ruin your career one way or another, and that it will break you. So, because Perfect Blue doesn't have a music video, I figured it could be fun to have a look at the visuals that are displayed for the song on Spotify, and also played in the background of the song when played live at Lovejoy's last tour. It was pretty difficult to look into, but I think I've actually worked it out. Apologies in advance if this isn't explained very well. It's very sciencey and it was super cool to find out, but it was very hard to put into words, so apologies if you don't understand fully what I'm saying. You can always look it up, it's very cool. So on first glance of the Spotify visualizer, I honestly just saw the atoms floating in a kind of blue void and nothing else, but I then noticed that it's actually a nuclear sign. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole looking at blue nuclear radiation, and I found out that the visuals look extremely similar to Cherenkov blue, a bright blue light that is emitted when charged particles, such as electrons, travel through a dielectric medium faster than the speed of light. light, making this gorgeous blue color, which is very reminiscent of the visuals. Cherenkov radiation results in the loss of kinetic energy, and it is also actually mostly harmless. So, how does this tie in with the meaning of perfect blue? As stated already, I believe that perfect blue is a metaphor for Wilbur's audience, therefore meaning that Cherenkov radiation and Cherenkov blue also represents his audience. The radiation being harmless shows that Wilbur views his audience also as harmless, innocent, and unable to cause him any significant harm. However, despite that, the audience also drains Wilbur's energy and causes him exhaustion due to the demand and the pressure put on him. As I just stated, this type of radiation results in a loss of kinetic energy, representing the audience, the perfect blue, the Cherenkov blue, taking away kinetic energy. Wilbur's energy to do things, Wilbur's energy to create content. The other visuals that stood out to me looking at live footage is the air turbines. What's cool about this is that kinetic energy is what makes wind turbines move. So hear me out. Wilbur is an air turbine. Wilbur is an air turbine, okay? He is an air turbine. Air turbines are consistently producing energy. The energy representing Wilbur's content, okay? Stick with me. For Wilbur to stay motivated and continuing to produce content, he needs motivation. The motivation in the air turbine sense being kinetic energy. However, his audience, his perfect blue, drain the kinetic energy, drain his motivation. And when air turbines don't have kinetic energy, they don't work anymore, they can't produce that energy. Wilbur can't produce content anymore when he doesn't have the energy and motivation to do so. At the end of this song, at the "Don't try this at home" section, it shows a big warning, like something is going heavily wrong. I think this represents when Wilbur couldn't take it anymore, the stress got too much, and he got completely burnt out of content creation. It is super cool. It is such a cool representation. I love it so much. Even if I've looked way too much into this, I still learned a lot about radiation and it was very fun. Overall, I think that Perfect Blue is a song about the difficulty of being famous on the internet, how your audience drains your motivation, ultimately ruining your mental health, going deep into Wilbur's struggles with it and how he feels about it all. But it also goes into the toxicity that he faced since the allegations came out, addressing both how he and his audience are being attacked, and how despite everything, he still loves and cares for his community, even if he was drained and overwhelmed by them too. Going into unhealthy and parasocial relationships, the loss of a once overpowering fan base, and how he still views his audience as perfect. Perfect Blue. Thank you so much for watching yet another analysis. These are really fun to do and I'm so glad you enjoy them. If you view anything differently, I'd love to hear it, so please let me know. I also have a Discord for anyone who doesn't know. It's a super chill place for Wilbur supporters and also very chaotic. We've somehow got a bunch of cult channels and are always having stupid wars over there, so if you want to join and meet a bunch of sweet people, the link is in my description. Thank you to my lovely friends and server mods for reading over some of my script and letting me know if it's cohesive and actually makes sense. It makes me feel way less insecure having someone tell me that what I'm saying actually makes sense, so thank you for that. And please, I say anything and I get bombarded with people saying, please analyze this song, please analyze this song. I am doing my best. Please just know requesting songs a bunch isn't going to make me do them any faster. It can get quite stressful after a while, so please calm it down a bit. Thank you for watching, thank you for supporting me, it means a lot, and I will see you soon.
Bastards, they were told